So over the next video or so, I'm going to be tearing into this this beauty here, which I know it looks terrible, but it's going to be like a silk purse from a sow's ear, or it'll still be a pig's ear. But we're gonna get it moving under its own power for next to nothing. That's really the goal with this whole thing, is next to nothing, and just to show that you can do it, because you're rather 15, 16, 17, you're trying to put together a first car. You don't have to do everything the way people think you have to do it, and you can it's trial and error, and it's all about sort of the learning experience and just seeing what works. And then just for fun later, I might put together something that's so oddball and mismatched and see what it does. I've got a lot of shitty old heads kicking around, so those could be ported and played with, and a lot of times you can find all this stuff, as I said earlier in the last video, you can find it online that's been done. And if it's a budget and you're putting together a motor and you've got an intake and stuff like that, and you're like, oh man, I want, AFR eliminators or something, yeah, you can save up for that stuff. And frankly, putting the heads on is a weekend of beer drinking. It's nothing. It's fun stuff to do, and it's about doing it, Everything's so cheap to buy these days, so that's easy, but a little bit of elbow grease and know-how is fun to know. And shit, there's stuff I don't know, so I'm sure you guys will flame me in the comments, and I'm just a dude doing stuff. So, come along for the ride, and see if we can get this tub into the 11s. I think that's really my goal. See what you can do on the cheap. And right now it's like no budget. Everybody's no budget right now. It's like you can afford toilet paper or toilet paper. Oh, time to take stock in this thing. What do we got here? Yep. There seems to be no trunk. Yep. Here's the other taillight. Part of it, I would guess. Skinny little rallies. Oh yeah. The man's got his work cut out for him a little bit. Anything good in here? Oh, no glove box at all. Good. Something long tube and a cross member. That'll be good. Doesn't look it, but it's really straight. Just a little long in the tooth, perhaps. We'll get at it and start tearing it down pretty soon here. But in the meantime, it's kind of time to tidy up a little bit and once again take stock of what we got sitting here. Put a little motor together for it. Here is a Craigslist 350. Looks to be like a 60 over. That'll be fun in traffic. What do we got? Oh, 207. Much maligned. Oh yeah, 2 bolts. Good enough. And I already know what this is, so I'm not fooling anybody. This is an 010, 30 over, balanced. Oh, what's going to go on under here? thing is really, really straight, so that's a good start. What's going on under here? Some subframe connectors and some booger welds, for sure. And some solid body mounts. Everything's here. The car is actually surprisingly rust-free, as it's been living its life in several garages over the years. So, it has the usual issues. But overall, pretty clean. Oh, we won't bother looking at that. She's been sitting with some open windows for a while. And some critters, most likely a cat, judging by the smell, has lived in here. And seeing as the seats are by Scat, that seems appropriate. Gonna clean the hell out of this thing and see where we get. It's pretty stripped. There was a lot of goodies in here. Extras too, so those might just sort of eBay and end up paying for something else I'll need, like hazmat suits or something. Yep, won't be a date night car, that's for sure. So, oh yeah, better swipe some stop signs. I'm gonna be making floor patches. We got a very, very bare shell that pretty toe out, but we're gonna jam this fucker together. It's got subframe connectors in it, good 8.5 with a 342. It's stripped. Car's a hair over 3,000 pounds, so whatever we do to it, it's still gonna kind of be fun. So the car beheld some treasures, like brand new window rubber and a sway bar and induction hood stuff, just various knickknacks. And what do you know? Two are look to be painted. Said 28 ones are normally black. These look like they had the targets on them, the bullets originally, but those usually fall off or get stolen, and that's easily fixable. But yeah, instead of a Z or Z, wherever you're from, Z28 headlight bezels, can't go wrong there. So far we're ahead of the game. We'll just block that name so I don't have to pay anybody. This air filter is probably more than most of the shit on this table. I hope it makes the car fast, but I kind of doubt it. But it's got a fancy lid. Yeah, fancy. Yeah, looks to be like a, I don't know, headman or a hooker. Long tube. Also do the trick. Win-win. Basically, this whole table here, overall, aside from like the head gaskets and the bargain basement ridge reamer that I'll be using on another block, it's all cheap. Like the heads were traded. A machine shop guy threw the studs in for almost nothing. It was a super cheap labor on like a slow month. Cams came, the only cam here I actually bought was the XE274, and I haven't run it yet. I had it overcammed in a shitty motor at one point, and it was a dog until it got to like 5,000 RPM. But cams are all cheap. They came in other motors, little trades here and there. The air gap was 125 bucks. It was a lot shinier at one point. And carbs, almost nothing. It's a couple hours to rebuild one if you got time. So all this garbage with a $400 block that was about the sketchiest Craigslist purchase I've ever made. It was truck to truck, a wink and a smile, and you know, somebody was probably missing it at some point, but we won't go into that. All this combination together ran low 13s at 104.5 with absolutely atrocious 60 foots and, you know, no traction whatsoever, and, you know, terrible reaction light with a 4-speed. It can be done. It was a lot of fun. I beat the hell out of that motor for 2 years before I finally blew some lifters out of it, and, you know, that was my own fault for not wiring in a rev limiter and just being heavy-footed. But yeah, nothing ventured, nothing gained, and didn't break the bank. And let's be honest too, like 104.5. Gotta love the new hair. It's a nice homeless chic. It's keeping people from talking to me. 104.5 is like probably a high 12-second quarter, and with a set of slicks, I'll probably dip into 1270s or something like that. So the next motor I'm gonna build up a little bit crazier, and it's gonna probably, I don't know, I'm hoping to dip into the 11s. It'll be there with me in some capacity. And as you can tell by my glorious mullet, I do things cheaply. So cheap is good. Cheap, cheap, cheap. Because you know what, if it breaks, you're not really into it for anything, and we don't mind that. So the bench is marginally clean. I think the guy who had this bench before me was probably 4'8", because, you know, I'm fat and short, and I don't even have to jump to get up on this bench. But a lot of this will be spent in here, bargain basement fabricating and just slapping stuff together, because it's fun, and it's cheap, and it's something to do, especially in these, I won't say the word, Rona times. We gotta do something when you can't have anybody over. The fun part of having people over to try and get like the hood off a car, you know, gotta sneak them in the back door or something. Yeah, and there'll be a lot of boring, you know, how-to footage where, you know, I'll be slamming things together with a hammer or not. But yeah, I'll put all that footage together as well. It's whatever, something to do. She's riding high in the nose, so you know, these things don't take long. It's in the span of like 1 or 2 videos, it'll be completely done, right? Who wants to help? This is like COVID car building. I'm just gonna sit here for a while and ponder if I made a giant mistake to add on top of all the other giant mistakes. But this one will be fun because you get to drive the mistake. And I'd say hit like and subscribe, but you know, this will be like 10 minutes of your day wasted. But you know, like and subscribe, because there's always like things, if you're local to me and you're looking for something, I might have it, and we can trade around, and we can just, you know, help each other get on the road, because it's Facebook Marketplace and Craigslist. It's the land of the cheap right now. So, and then there's obviously the guys that know what they have. You know, I'm not that guy. I have no grand delusions of what this old shit is worth. Because when it's nearly free, it's nice to sell it for nearly free, because that's a profit, and profit's good when you need a can of the wrong color orange for your Chevy motor. I think that one was actually Hemi orange, but in a pinch it did the trick, because it's orange and no one can tell the difference. Paint your block any color you want, but if it's lime green, you're an idiot.